next speaker is a very close friend, a senior colleague, and quite brilliant in his own way. Lieutenant General P.R. Shankar, PVSM, AVSM, VSM, who retired as the Director General of Artillery, is the alumnus of the National Defense Academy, the Army Institute of Technology, the Defense Services Staff College, the Army War College, and the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, as well as the NDC of New Delhi. He has vast experience, having served in all kinds of terrain and operation situations, including counterinsurgency operations. As the Director General Artillery, and this is a personal, I'm aware of what General Shankar has done. As the Director General of Artillery, he gave great impetus to the indigenization and modernization of the artillery. He was instrumental in the induction of most of the new guns, the rocket and missile systems in the Indian Army. His vast knowledge and experience in successful defense planning and acquisition is what is driving him further even today. The General is now a professor in the Aerospace Department of the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. He is actively involved in the applied research of cutting-edge defense technologies. He's also an independent member of the L&T Defense Board, as well as he's associated with the Tamil Nadu Defense Corridor. General Shankar would be speaking to us on capability development in technology and strategy for self-sufficiency. Sir?
Thanks a lot, General Chauhan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And my special thanks to the Army Commander for calling me over here. In this talk of mine, I'll give a different flavor than what you heard so far. And we'll start straight away. You know, when you look at the last century was all about the revolution in military affairs. Today we are talking of disruption in military affairs because of all the disruptive technologies which have come into play. Next. Okay. Now this is bird's eye view of the military technologies of this century. I must tell you this. These technologies didn't come out of my head, like Newton's, apple falling on Newton's head. They came out of a talk I heard between Eric Schmidt, who's the CEO of Google, and the CFO of OpenAI, ChatGPT. And these chaps were speaking about this 1 year back, just around the time when the Ukraine war was on. And I heard it in USA in a YouTube channel. And that is where I derived all this, and I've changed it. It's not exactly what they say. Eric Schmidt has written an article later. Given the time, I'll show that to you also. So what are we talking of? We need quantum computing, we need AI, we need cyber, we need communication and networking. We know all that. We need space. Next, additive manufacturing. Very critical. Right? And I'll leave this presentation with you in Southern Command. You can do what you want with it. Don't worry about it. And then semiconductors, everyone talks, but additive manufacturing is important. Energy. I'll talk of energy a little later, but battlefield needs a lot of energy. If you're going to get all these things into the battlefield, you need energy. If you don't have energy, thank you. Okay. Then you're talking of something called synthetic biology. You need cloud. No one talks of cloud. You need a whole lot of cloud sitting in your country if you want to be strategically independent. And if you don't have that, you're a slave to Amazon or whoever, Alibaba, or whoever has got the cloud wherever it is. Because all what we are talking today is resident somewhere in Azure cloud in some Wisconsin or some Wisconsin. Okay, then you need engines, propulsion, guidance, and control technologies. Very critical. You need robotics and unmanned systems. And if you have these, you're a technological power. If you don't have it, you're not. You ask me my own perception of all this? We are not. Let's be very clear. Okay? But are we heading in the right direction? We are. But unfortunately, the direction in which we are heading is a bit unorganized. Right? And I'm going to give you an unorganized view because it's what is organic to what we are doing in IIT. I'll give you a view so that you get an idea of the potential we have which we need to tap. Right. And I'll focus myself on what we have to do in the armed forces, because that all of us can relate to. And if we can do this much in the armed forces, let me assure you, it'll multiply all over. We need to change. Okay. Now, all these technologies exist, but yeah, next one. All these technologies exist. How do you apply them on ground? Can we have the next slide? Yeah, this is it. I've done this matrix for high altitudes. Look, battlefield transparency is fundamental to all of us. But what are the technologies you need? You need space, you need GIS, unmanned systems, night vision sensors, and AI. You look at reach, which is range, basically. You need propulsion, you need unmanned systems, control and guidance. You need reach, you need precision. So you're looking at terminal guidance, seekers, AI, etc., etc., etc. Look at this one, battlefield energy. You need renewables, fuel cells, space-based system, nuclear fusion. Are we there in fusion? We're nowhere. We have to think fusion. But are we really not there in fusion? No. If you're going to Mangalyaan, you're doing it with a purpose. Okay? You're going to get deuterium from there. And deuterium is the fundamental thing which you need for fusion, which is not available on Earth. That's why everyone goes to Mangalyaan. It's not to go and do a picnic out there. And that's where the potential of India is. Why are we going to moon? You're going to the south pole of moon so that you get water. Why do you get water? Why do you need water? You need water because water is the oil of space. If you don't have oil, you don't have water, you don't have a staging space, a platform on moon, you can't go to the Mars. You're not going to be energy sufficient. Why do you need all this fusion? Because in Livermore lab in California, they've already cracked this fusion thing. The Chinese keep coming out with it, but the technology is there. So we need to be somewhere there. Our strategic partnership, will it get us? That's the whole aim. Next. Okay. Now, this is a very interesting article I saw. This is what a Russian and a Ukrainian general agreed, that the battle space is different. You know, it's very rare adversaries agreed, but they did agree in this case. Next. Okay, what did they speak of? They spoke of traditional maneuver forces are sitting ducks. They spoke of Ukraine as an algorithm war. Fog of war has cleared. You're talking of a new transparent battle space. Air defense has triumphed over military aviation. So there's the entire business of, Rafale, Shafales and all, you need a rethink. Okay. They're talking of qualitative superiority of NATO artillery, and you need a priority radical rearmament in the next few years. People today are talking of printable rockets. Okay, we have to think differently. Okay, the last thing is important. The best weapons are small, cheap systems. You don't need complicated, costly systems. How can you think out of the box and get small systems which can hurt the other guy? And you've seen this. You've seen this in Israel. You've seen Hamas doing it with, water pipes as rockets. And you've seen this in Ukraine also. I mean, you have to think different. It's nice to say China does this, ये does that, वो does that. हम क्या कर रहे हैं भाई? वो तो सोचो. Next. Look, this is the old two-front war we spoke of, 2.5. Those two small ones, quarter, make 2.5. So next. This is a new front which Mr. Vijay Gokhale also spoke of. You got the China front going. The Western front has gone into the Arabian Sea. Okay, and it is permanent. It's not going to change. Houthis are not going to go. If Houthis didn't go from 2008 when the Arabians were trying to hammer them, which, General Sharma also spoke of, they're not going to go away. If they don't go away, 10, 12 ships of yours are going to go there. And Pakistan and Iran, Pakistan and Iran, Pakistan and China, Pakistan and Turkey are all doing exercises out there. And Pakistan is going to be I wouldn't say a vassal, this thing, it's going to be one more fleet of the Navy, of the Chinese Navy in times to come. And that's going to hang around there. So are you geared for this? And then there's the southern front, right from Myanmar to Maldives, where Chinese presence is growing by the day. Okay, next. In this kind of a matrix, I'll start on the bottom. Hybrid is the new normal. Are we thinking? We are good at counter-hybrid. We say, oh, we've defeated counterinsurgency. We have great experience in J&K and Northeast and all. Fantastic. What have you done about hybrid? Any war you take is going to be hybrid. Already he said, oh, chap's got one nuke. What the previous AG He did say, he's got a nuke, you can't take your 3 cores. So what do? You start thinking hybrid. Gone are the days when you say, Bhaiya, hum to Krishna ke dharma palan karenge, or but Krishna didn't say that, no, you have to be conventional. He said, use Kutniti. Use hybrid. That's the whole story. Okay. Now, the traditional weapons, you can't let go. Tanks, artillery, aircraft, infantry. Luckily, we have them in good measure. We are not that badly off. But what is required is increased domain awareness through space, UAVs, networking, AI, and narratives. Are we good at it? Future weapons, UAVs, rockets and missiles, digital and space and nuclear capability. The way, we just fired Agni 4 with the MIRV and all that, but China has done that long back. He is increasing his nuclear arsenal by the bounds, okay? And he's gone past that no first use kahani with the way he's deployed the silos, the way he's expanded, and the way he's got his MIRVs, and the way he's dominating space. Okay, rockets and missiles. I've done a study on this. I've given it to the clause for publication. Today, rockets and missiles are the new form of weapons. Printable rockets. People are talking of printable rockets. Just think. You can't print a gun, but you can print a rocket. You can't print a tank, but you can print a rocket. Are we thinking that way? Let me also put it. When I was at DGRT, we had the vice chief saying, "Yaar, rocket ko kam karo." Fact. And what happened? Our great LTIPP, what we thought of, we couldn't see the future. The future is in firepower. The Houthis saw it and the Hamas saw it. So instead of having 22 Pinaka regiments, in our LTIPP, we brought it down to 10. This is how we think. So first and foremost, our thinking has to change. What is your priority? Okay, next. Okay, let me talk a little bit about technology. The best technology is that which wins you the battle. It's not the latest technology. That is something which people don't understand. Okay? And the latest technology might not win you the battle. Iska praman kaun hai? USA. Chappaldari Taliban kicked USA out with its latest technology. I keep talking of like this. So you have to see what technology you want. Don't ape the Western technologies. Ape yourself, because the technology is resident in us. Okay, the cheapest and most effective technology is one which you own. That is something which you have to make on your own. Okay, the costliest technology is what you buy and import, and that's what we've been doing for 75 years. It's time we stop doing it. Technology upgradation is the name of the game. You take a T-34 tank, T-34, T-55, T-62, T-72, T-90, 2014 Armata. These are all a series of upgradations. You can't, you put a T-34 and a 2014 Armata, they're different tanks, but they're upgraded through the ages. What are we doing? Are we thinking like that? Are you starting to think like that? The only place where we have done this successfully is in your missile development program. Why? You had an integrated guided missile development program. If you have an integrated drone missile program, if you have an integrated tank development program, you have an integrated approach to the whole thing, then it can happen. And I'll challenge anyone on this, because I was one of the first army officers on the integrated missile development program. I coordinated the Prithvi launch and I coordinated the first Agni launch, and I'm very clear that's the way to go forward, but we don't take it. We don't have it. Okay, anyway. So, you need a national strategy for military technology. Okay? There is no other choice but to be technologically self-sufficient. Make your own technology. You need original research, you need upgradation, you need substitution and an alternate energy. Strategy for technology. And technology is not just making new stuff all the while. And we were missing an opportunity today. When Russia is stuck, you have the capability of doing Russian spares. The whole world around you is crying for Russian spares. You have the technology. Are you leveraging it? You're not. I went and told this AVNL, this newly formed OFB offshoot, why didn't you do that? He says, sir, मैं Myanmar कैसे जाऊँ? Myanmar यार air ticket पकड़ के जाओ और बात करो. Go to Africa. Half those countries there have T-55s which don't work. Get them here, do MRO, make money, get technology, become a thing. Then your military diplomacy also goes. you had technology, you have to think everything. There's no specialist called a technologist. You have to have a mix of affairs. And that's a fundamental problem in the army. I'll come to it. Next. Okay. You might think I'm doing all, I'm talking in the air. And I'll give you just one thing, what we are doing in IIT thing. And this is applicable, each IIT must be doing what they have to do. But I'll just put it across to you. In IIT, 5G, we have done the Barrows for mobiles, which is our own OS. And we have given it, it's gone into the test bed for the army, right? And this is when this chap Uni came to me, I said, we did it, our own thing, and we've got our own processes in the thing. Once we get our own semiconductors, we have our own system, completely sanitized, our own, not Huawei and EAV and OV. Okay, then Agnikul. Agnikul launches, it's a startup, they're going to launch, on 22nd, they're going to launch a rocket from Shar, a set of young boys. And they're going to do it. The CDS is going to come on 22nd. I'm going to brief him. And I'm going to brief him on all this. This is virtually what I'm speaking to you is a rehearsal for what I'm going to tell Anil Chauhan when he comes to me on 22nd. Right? First he came, he said he'll talk to IIT and go. I said, what's the point in your talking to IIT? Come and see what's happening in IIT Madras so that you can replicate it elsewhere. We have the biggest startup ecosystem in Southeast Asia. The Prime Minister came 3 years back and saw the startup ecosystem and he said, yeah, today my eyes are opened. And this is, his thing is on YouTube. Okay, he says, I've not seen such a system in wherever I've gone. Yet we are not capitalized on it. I don't have 5 startups for defense in that place. So there's some problem. We have cheap and disposable long-range UAVs. This is a great story. When I retired, why I went to IIT was because I wanted to make UAVs for the army. I went to everyone, I said, yaar, UAV bana raha hu. Everyone clapped. Okay? I said, yaar, paisa to de do. Koi nahi diya paisa. I said, all this I'll produce for you. Unfortunately, the last talk I had with Bipin Rawat was we fought in the Lucknow Defense Corridor, Expo. When I told him, why didn't you give me money? He said, no, so many people are going to come and give me, UAVs, why should I take yours? I said, yeah, you'll have own technology. Anyway, that we couldn't carry that forward. Unfortunately, he went and no one bothered about it. Suddenly the world has, 2 wars are broken. Everyone recognizes drones. Every speaker has spoken of drones. And everyone has started dreaming of drones कि भाई technology चाहिए. आप China से drone लेके आते हो क्योंकि it comes from China, it goes to Turkey and comes here. Right? तो उसके साथ लड़ोगे क्या आप? So you need your own and you need different things. So now people have started thinking. I'll come to it a little later. Then you need an IC engine-based quadcopter because normal quadcopters won't work in high altitudes. You need very powerful engines. Okay, and we're doing it. But I've not unleashed it into the environment as such because the technology is not 100% correct. I'm not certain about it as it. Ramjet technology. This is a tremendous achievement which we have done. Today, I can say with fantastic confidence and infuse that confidence in you that we are the number 1 in Ramjet technology for artillery. There's no one in the world who's ahead of us. Okay, and then A-based domain awareness. I started this. These last 2, I'll give you a glimpse of what I'm doing. Yeah, next. Okay, this is it. Ramjet artillery shell. What does it do? These are the ranges of Dhanush, Vajra, and Attacks, those guns. What are the standard ranges and what the ranges we'll get? We're going to just double the range. Okay, and the same thing, we're going to port it into GRAD. We've started the process. When you port it into a GRAD BM21, this technology, a GRAD BM21 has got 20 kilometers odd range. That's an old one, 1971 car. Even Afghans use that stupid rocket. Even Hezbollah also uses this rocket. It's, it is ubiquitous around the world. But you put technology and substitute and do technology upgradation, it goes to 120 kilometers. अपना दिमाग लगाओ भाई. This technology which we have started, we're going to port it there. And when we port it there, we'll get it. And luckily, and I'm proud to say this, of the Indian Army, They've said, yo, take money, do it for us. And they're saying, why didn't you do it by day before yesterday? But we started. It took me 6 years to come to this level where today the Indian Army says, take money, but give me the goods. We understand failures. Okay, what does this Shell, in terms of technology, what all am I talking of? Related to the first set of slides I showed on military technologies of the century. AI, space and propulsion, additive manufacturing, semiconductors and networking, all this is and propulsion. We are the world leaders in propulsion. We are the world leaders in propulsion. We have 3 centers of excellence in propulsion. One is with ISRO, one is with the DRDO, and the third is with the IIT Madras. We don't know what we are, but we unfortunately believe what the Chinese are. This is the firing of the Ramjet projectile, which we did. We did this 6 months back. This is a half-scale model of a 76 mm, which we fired in Devlali. We didn't fire it anywhere else. We fired it in School of Artillery, Devlali. We established our technology in this. Last month, we went to Balasore with a full 155 mm shell, right? And we failed. I must admit, we failed. But that failure gave me success. Because if I succeeded, I would have failed. Because I've failed, now I'll succeed. And what you're going to see is now the 10th or 12th iteration. And this is a process I started when Hasabnis was the deputy chief. You agree? Right. And we've also started something called for the domain awareness. I made a conceptual model. I've gone to the deputy chief. I've gone to Raja Subramani, who's the GOC&C Central Command. And we discussed with him. You need domain awareness. If you don't have domain awareness, forget it. What the Navy is doing in domain awareness is just collection, integration. But what do you need in domain awareness? You need satellite imagery, image processing, UAV, all this to be done, image processing. That's something called computer vision. Then you need int reps, other reps, the inputs which is in red, into a large language AI model. And then the electronic inputs. And then you have to have data fusion and analysis and make a cloud. And this is a process I've started. Luckily, again, the army has said, okay, we'll do it. I'm putting a team together. Will I come out of it? I don't know. But, right? Okay, next. When you look at the structure of defense capability and technology development, this is the structure. Government, services, DRDO, or the business as usual, katam, the buljo. You need knowledgeable military and a cultural change come in. And that cultural change will come if you incorporate CSIR, ISRO and DAE, because that's the fusion you need at the national level. Okay? And then other 3, industry, startups and academia. This is the new compact. Because the new technologies are not with these fellows. DRDO ke paas aap AI jaoge to he is absolutely, you will get artificial intelligence. To the core, without doubt. Okay? You need something useful, you have to go to the chaps who make it. But the chaps who make it, startups don't have legs. They don't have strength. So you give them good industry. And go to the academia, because the core knowledge is with the academia. Okay, what do we do? I'll just go quickly over it now. You expand techno-military education, empower the ADB. That's a success story. You need systematic refocus on capability development and building, and you need a defense procurement advisory board. The Defense Acquisition Council is not capable of handling what it is supposed to do, because it's largely transitionary. You need a thing, you get 3 good guys, let them be there for 5, 6, 7 years and get expertise. Okay, and that's something which is lacking. You need capability building structures to align with new technology. So you need a defense technology innovation board, right? We have to be prepared to live with underperforming DRDO and OFBs, because OFBs which have been broken up are already underperforming. The DRDO, after this Vijayaraghavan committee, committee thing, is going to underperform, whichever way it goes. Okay, they're going to be sulking for the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, and then you need a major think on carriers and MS policy, which is the biggest stumbling block. Okay, Yeah, I was part of MS branch. Okay? It's only now I'm a refined saint. When I was a colonel, I was in MS branch for 2 years. I mean, 2 tenures. But when you come out of that well-called MS branch, you realize what it is not doing for your service. Okay? And be the change. Let's stop talking of everything. You have to start changing. Okay, next. Defense planning. I'll just leave this with you. I'll not go. You have to do defense planning as per a new threat perception. You can't do defense planning as per an old threat perception. You had a 15-year LTIPP, now it's called something else. We don't even know what it is. It's still only 10 years. If in the next 5 years something else changes, that will also change. You don't have a focus. Right? Again, I'll leave this slide with the Army commander. Have a look at it. I'm not going to go into detail, otherwise he'll say time is up. Yeah. And then, of course, we have budgeting issues also. Yeah, next. Last, the armed forces are strong enough to defend the territorial integrity of India. On that, I don't have a doubt. We've done it, barring what, the little friction points and all that which were made. But the question which we have to answer for ourselves and seriously, are they modern enough to anchor India's rise as a regional power? And for that, you need to rethink. And that rethink has to come fundamentally from technology. If we don't do that, we are out of the equation. I'll be open to any question after this, whenever, and I'll welcome all of you to come to IIT and see what's happening. And there's a personal request for the Army commander, please do come, because then only when you come to ground, you do understand why are we underutilizing these IITs. Someone did make a thing mention about brain drain not coming back and all that. We don't need it. We have the capability. And there are people, young people, my students, who say, sir, give us an opportunity, we'll make and give you. But usko le jaun to kahan le jaun? So we need to think. The problem is internal. It's not really external. Thanks a lot. Sorry, I've overshot the time. But I hope I made it interesting and relevant to our context and what we are supposed to do. Thank you.